about you, and it was a very nice program you had right there.
Thanks, sir.
And I'm with the PeaceCasters organization. We're a group that encourages youth to be more peaceful using digital technology, and I'm in the 8th grade, and I'd just like to ask you a few questions. If you could say one thing that you've learned from being in your line of work that you think all Americans, especially children, should know, what would it be?
I think one lesson is a quote that I learned. It says, when your heart speaks, take good notes. When your heart speaks, take good notes. I think we're very logical and linear in our society. We're very strategic, but when I look back at the best decisions I made in my life, it was based on my intuition or my heart or my faith, and I think sometimes we don't listen to our heart sometimes when we start feeling. The best decisions I made in my life were based on my intuition rather than on my logical, linear kind of thing. The other thing is, anybody can make a difference. I've had the honor to meet hundreds of young men and women and children across America. I met a 11-year-old in San Diego. His name is Fred. He started something called the Red Wagon Foundation. Last year they raised about $200,000 to support inner city literacy and reading campaign. I met a 16-year-old who raised money to help 800 girls go to school in Tanzania and East Africa. So anybody can make a difference, and I think it's important to just think about one seed, one penny, or one pencil at a time.
And can you explain how you feel about the relationship between peace, justice, and education, what you do?
Well, you can't plug in democracy, you have to build democracy. And I got a letter from a 4th grader in Tyler, Texas. It was a 2-page letter, and the title of it was "Why Peace is Noisy." And he wrote about how every Friday they used to collect pennies, but they threw them into steel pots, and they tried to make this noise. But then he wrote a lot why sometimes we think of peace as just meditating or praying or being serene, but sometimes when we want to have peace, it takes compassion, it takes courage. We have to be brave. Sometimes it's not popular to really try and promote peace. If we just fight terrorism, it's based in fear, but if you promote peace, it's based in hope. And whether someone is in Afghanistan or in Africa or in America, I think the real enemy is ignorance, and it's ignorance that breeds hatred.
Okay, one more question. What are some of the events that maybe led or inspired you to not only start your program, but also write your book?
Well, I wrote my book to help raise awareness, to promote peace. I also wrote my book because I don't get to see my family and my children half the year for many, many years, year after year. And so I wanted them, when they grow up, to know why their daddy's been gone so much. And it's very hard for me to be gone away from my family. So that's another reason I wrote the book. I also think I wrote it to kind of make people think about peace. And I think we're living too much in fear now. And if you live in fear, you also become pessimistic or you become cynical. And we can't do that because we do have children. We owe it to all our children and grandchildren to leave a legacy of peace. And it starts with, I think, to be optimistic, to be pessimistic, and instead of being pessimistic, and to have faith and to have courage and to have compassion.
And right, you say that you've had to spend a lot of time away from your family, and you've also had to face a lot of dangers and violence. Have you ever regretted taking up such a dangerous and far-going line of work?
Well, I was kidnapped once by the Taliban for 8 days in '96. What to me was most sad or frightening is in America, after 9/11, I got hate mail and death threats from Americans. People called me a traitor, and people said that I was worse than the enemy because I was helping Muslim children go to school. And again, it kind of comes back to the thing, I think, is that it's ignorance that breeds hatred. Yeah. And we have a lot of problems here in America too. We need to address those issues. But I think I found that American people were good people. And it doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democratic or whatever your faith or background is. And what can bring people together, I think, is education. And if we can really promote education, I think that can make not only the world a better place, but also our society here in America.
All right, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, sir.